You are overwhelmed by noise. Not the sound kind, the stimulus kind. Your phone pings, your email chimes, your notifications cascade like rain. 12 apps are trying to get your attention. 17 browser tabs are open. Your social feeds are updating in real time. Your news is streaming 24/7. Your music is playing. Your podcasts are queued. Someone is texting you. 3 people are calling. And you think this behavior is normal. It is not. This is a crisis. Your brain did not evolve for this. Your nervous system did not develop to handle 500 pieces of information competing for attention every single hour. For 300,000 years, throughout human history, silence was the default, noise was the exception. A predator's sound, a warning, something that required attention. Then, in the last 15 years, we flipped this upside down. Silence became the exception, noise became the default. The absence of sound is now so rare that we experience it as uncomfortable, unsettling, wrong. Most people have never been alone with their own mind for more than 5 minutes. And the cost of this is visible everywhere. In the anxiety epidemic, in the depression crisis, in the collapsing attention spans, in the forgotten dreams, in the relationships that never deepened, in the creative work that never happened. All of it traces back to one thing. We have forgotten how to be silent. Here is what science reveals. Silence is not empty. Silence is where the brain does its most important work. When external stimulation stops, something remarkable happens inside your skull. Your brain does not rest. It activates. Specifically, a network called the default mode network turns on. The DMN is responsible for self-reflection, memory consolidation, creative insight, and sense of self. It is the system that was literally designed for contemplation, for thinking about your future, for making sense of your past, for connecting dots that cannot be connected in the presence of distraction. But here is the problem. The default mode network can only activate when external demands decrease, when there is silence, when there is space. Thus, if you never give your brain space, the DMN never activates, which means you never have genuine insights. You never solve your real problems. You never develop a coherent sense of self. You never consolidate memories into wisdom. You never connect the threads of your life into meaning. You exist in a constant state of reaction to notifications, to demands, to everyone else's priorities. Research shows that people who spend significant time in silence have increased gray matter in the hippocampus, the region responsible for learning and memory, enhanced connectivity between regions of the brain associated with self-awareness, decreased activity in the amygdala, the fear center, resulting in lower baseline anxiety, improved ability to focus, concentrate, and maintain attention. And critically, increased access to the unconscious mind, which is where genuine creativity lives. When you force your brain into constant external stimulation, you are literally shutting down the systems responsible for growth, insight, and self-understanding. The silence you are avoiding is not empty. It is where you become. The cost of a world without silence is measured in human suffering. When you eliminate silence, you are not just eliminating a pleasant experience. You are eliminating the conditions necessary for human development, creativity, and mental health. Your nervous system exists in 2 modes, sympathetic and parasympathetic. Sympathetic is a fight or flight. The parasympathetic is rest and digest. Constant stimulation keeps you locked in sympathetic mode. Your body cannot rest. Your stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline, remain elevated. Your heart rate stays high. Your muscles stay tense. This was fine for 10 minutes, the duration of an actual threat, but you are living in sympathetic activation for 16 hours a day. Your body is in a perpetual state of emergency. The consequences. Your immune system suppresses it. Inflammation increases throughout your body. Your sleep becomes fragmented. Your memory deteriorates. Your focus collapses. Your emotional regulation fails. Anxiety becomes baseline. Depression follows. Addiction develops as you seek dopamine hits from your devices. And crucially, your ability to think deeply vanishes. Deep thought requires parasympathetic activation. It requires your nervous system to feel safe enough to wander, to explore, to imagine. When you are in constant sympathetic activation, you can only think reactively. You can only solve immediate problems. You cannot think strategically. It cannot plan long-term, cannot imagine different futures. You are imprisoned by the present moment, unable to think your way out, because the very conditions for thinking deeply have been eliminated. The worst part? Most people do not even realize this is happening. They blame themselves. They think they are lazy, unmotivated, incapable. They do not realize their brain is literally unable to access the systems necessary for deep focus, while their nervous system is locked in survival mode. The solution is not more willpower. The solution is returning your nervous system to parasympathetic activation. And that requires silence. The remarkable news: your nervous system is plastic. It can rewire. But you cannot go from 0 to 8 hours of silence. That is setting yourself up for failure. You have to rebuild your capacity systematically. Phase 1. Micro-silence, week 1 to 2. Start with 5 minutes. 5 minutes of absolute silence. No phone, no music, no input. Just you and your own mind. For most people, this will be the hardest 5 minutes of their week. Your brain will panic. It will produce thoughts just to fill the void. Urges to check your phone will be intense. Do not fight these. Observe them. Watch the panic arise and pass. Your nervous system is learning that silence is safe. Do this daily for 2 weeks. Next door, phase 2. Silence expansion, week 3 to 4. Increase to 15 minutes. By now, the panic is subsiding. Your default mode network is beginning to activate. You might have a genuine insight. Do not chase it. Let it come. Continue daily. Phase 3. Environmental silence, week 5 to 6. Add silent periods throughout your day. Walk to work without music. Eat lunch without your phone. Drive without a podcast. Create islands of silence in your day. Each moment is a vote for parasympathetic activation. Each moment is training your nervous system to feel safe without input. Phase 4. Digital silence, week 7. Implement phone-free hours. Preferred 2 hours before sleep. No screens. No notifications. Nothing but silence and the people in your life. Then add a phone-free morning. Protect your first hour. Let your mind emerge from sleep in silence, not immediately to stimulation. Finally, implement a full day per week with minimal technology. Just you, your environment, and your thoughts. When noise disappears, something strange happens. At first, it feels like nothing. No alerts, no music, no scrolling, no voices fill every empty corner, just silence. And because we've been conditioned to fear silence, we mistake it for emptiness. But silence is not empty. Silence is where the invisible benefits begin. When noise disappears, your attention returns. Your mind is no longer pulled in every direction by alerts, algorithms, and endless novelty. It begins to gather itself. And that changes everything. Because attention is not just focus, attention is your life. Whatever you pay attention to, you become. In silence, you start noticing things again. Your breathing, your posture, the tension in your and the thoughts you've been avoiding, the emotions buried under distraction. Silence makes the invisible visible. It brings emotional clarity. What is felt can move. What is avoided gets stored. And when you finally get quiet enough to hear yourself, stress begins to fall. Your body receives a message it has not heard in far too long. You are safe now. From that safety, deeper thought becomes possible. You stop thinking only about what is urgent. You start thinking about what is important. Silence brings perspective. It sharpens discernment. It returns you to your own values, your own voice, your own life. And from that return, creativity, wisdom, love, and presence begin to emerge. That is the truth most people miss. When noise disappears, you do not lose life. You recover it. And what emerges in that silence is not emptiness. It is you. There is a point in silence where something deeper begins to change. Not just your stress, not just your focus. You. At first, stillness feels like a habit, something you practice for a few minutes to calm down. But over time, it becomes a mirror. And in that mirror, you begin to see how much of your life was built in reaction. The distracted version of you, the anxious version, the always available, always stimulated, always responding version. You called it personality, but it was adaptation. Maybe what you thought was just who you are was actually your environment speaking through your nervous system. This is what silence makes possible. It separates who you are from what you have adapted to. As the noise fades, the false self begins to loosen. The performance weakens. The compulsion to constantly check, react, consume, and escape starts to lose its grip. And underneath all of that, someone quieter begins to emerge, someone steadier, someone less ruled by urgency, someone more capable of being present. Stillness creates space between you and your impulses. A thought appears, and you do not instantly obey it. An emotion rises, and you do not instantly become it. An urge comes, and you do not instantly act. That space is where freedom begins, because every time you choose stillness over stimulation, you are practicing a new identity, not a perfect self, a real one. And in the end, that is the transformation. Stillness does not turn you into someone new. It strips away what never belonged to you, and what remains is someone who is grounded, someone whole, someone fully here,